Well, hey, and welcome to another episode of Beetle Dustino coming at you again today with yet another video. And we're going to come to you today with a little vinyl community tag, actually a CD community tag, started by Glen from the basement. Go check out his channel. He's got a great channel. I'm going to have his original video linked down below. But he's a very beloved member of the vinyl community and obviously the CD community as soon as he started a CD tag for 2025. But yeah, go check him out. Great guy, great channel, and very beloved member of the vinyl community here. And he came up with a CD tag for 2025, and I love CDs, and I thought this was written all perfect for me because it's that time of the year where we get all these tags. The vinyl tags, Beatles tag. I know there's a Beatles tag out there, which I probably should do also, but we're going to start with the CD tag. This one got me really excited. So anyways, more of that after the intro. See, I'm really going to go off the cuff on this one. So I've got some notes kind of prepared, and he's got 15 questions here, 15 kind of prompts to do. And I thought this was really fun. Like I said, I'm a CD collector. I do collect vinyl, yes, and that's going to be one of the questions. So we're kind of getting to that. But at heart, I am a CD collector. That's my bread and butter with my music collection, I guess. And I hate seeing CDs kind of in this state right now. I can imagine vinyl lovers back in the 90s there when kind of the writing was on the wall. The vinyl was kind of coming to an end. I don't think they saw the resurgence coming, though. I don't think that they had that hope where we've witnessed the resurgence of vinyl. Us that have grown up with CDs, we've witnessed the resurgence of vinyl. And I think we all know eventually there's going to be a resurgence of CDs. And I think that's going to happen. People that threw out their CD collection are going to be kicking themselves. They don't have it anymore. And I've proudly kept mine. I proudly display it in every video I make. You see a good chunk of my collection here, and mainly my Beatles and Paul McCartney and such. John Lennon, George is all there. I love my CDs. I absolutely do. And I will buy a CD way before I'm going to buy a vinyl on anything because they're portable. They sound good to me. Not to everybody. I know there's people that'll argue with me on that, but they do sound good. And I love the fact I can take them anywhere. It is getting trickier to find a portable CD player or a CD player in your car, but we got ways around it. But anyways, let's get on to the prompts and on to the first prompt here, the first question. And it kind of kicks off your history on CDs. And it is, when did you get your first CD player? And I love this. It's kind of the end of the year, Christmas time area. And we just celebrated Christmas. And my first CD player was a Christmas gift one year. I don't remember the exact year. I don't remember the brand of it or anything. I can explain to you the type of it. But it was the first CD player in our household. Believe it or not, I had my first CD, which is coming up here too, before I even had my first CD player. I think it was kind of me hinting at mom and dad, hey, I'd like a CD player for Christmas type thing. But yeah, my parents got me my first one for Christmas. I'm thinking I wrote down 92 or 93. I remembered when it was first when we moved to the house I'm currently in. Yes, I've lived here that long. Yes, I still live with my parents, but it's kind of switched. They were taking care of me. Now I'm taking care of them. So, and it works. It works. We love each other. We get along great. So I can't imagine having any other housemates to live with than my parents. But anyways, that's kind of beyond the point. But yeah, we never had a ton of money, anything like that. That's probably why my parents never really got a CD player right away. I really get a kick out of it. And if you ever watch my my shorts showing the record spinning shorts that I do, and I always kind of pan out and you can see my dad's old stereo. That's my dad's old stereo. Probably would have been one of his biggest purchases in the early 80s there. And obviously he never updated it from there. So, but I get a kick out of the fact that once I got that cleaned up and kind of going again, it sat, down here in the basement for a while. And yeah, Glen Calloway's from the basement. I'm also from the basement there too. So there we go. But yeah, it kind of sat in the corner for a while and got kind of ignored. I finally pulled it out in 2020, when we were all yeah, you know what happened in 2020. But yeah, I finally pulled it out and cleaned it up. But one thing I got a kick out of cleaning it up was I did find one of the auxiliaries was actually labeled for CD, which I really am shocked on, because I guess I would have never thought his old CD, his old record player, his old stereo system there would have been at least new enough to have an auxiliary labeled for a CD. So I think that was pretty cool. But yeah, he never got a CD player to go with it. I don't even know when he got that. It would have been right when CDs were coming out. As a matter of fact, he's got the brochure that came from, and I don't think there's CD players in that brochure. So it would have showed all kind of the range of those cabinet stereos. I don't even think there's a CD player listed in that. But the fact that the auxiliary is labeled CD, I thought was pretty cool. But yeah, my first CD player was just some for my room. It was just a little mini stereo thing. So, you know, it was all kind of in one. Had the CD player, I think dual cassette, the radio tuner, had a auxiliary. You could plug in a phonograph, a record player. I do remember that on it. It had the speakers you plugged in, and the nice plug-in, you know, the little wires sticking out, the bare wires. I always feel those are maybe a little better than just the auxiliary type plug ones. But yeah, I remember it had the separated speakers, probably about yay big, everything about that tall. Yeah, I got thrown out years ago. I kind of upgraded over time there, and I just didn't use it anymore. So, and I remember at one point we had a friend of ours, always had a kind of an audio business, and he gave me a set of AR speakers, acoustic research speakers, which is what my dad had hooked up to the stereo back in the day too. I've still got those, my dad's acoustic research ones, but they unfortunately are all crumbled. I've still been trying to figure out getting those fixed up. But yeah, I had these big AR speakers I hooked up to that little stereo for a while. I took out its originals and popped in some AR ones that he gave me that he was going to toss them out. They were perfectly good. I didn't see why. And I was like, man, these are just like my dad's. It was just, my dad's have got kind of that second tweeter or whatever. I love audio stuff and everything, and I used to work for him. I should know more on it. It's something I would have loved to have done as a living. I think I've kind of blocked myself on some of that. I wish I knew it better yet, because it was something I was really interested in for a time being there. You know, but I guess knowing all the true technicalities on it. But his only had the one tweeter. My dad's have got the two. Otherwise, it was about the same size as my dad's and everything. I think maybe they weren't quite as powerful as my dad's too. I can't remember. The subwoofer seemed to be the same size though. Even the housing for it and everything was about the same. But I thought it was pretty cool that he just gave me a set of acoustic research speakers. Unfortunately, those, our basement flooded here one year, and those got in the flood there, and I just kind of tossed them out because I didn't want to worry about the mold and everything on that. So, but anyways, yeah, that was my first CD player, and I really made that a long thing. It was just a cheap thing from Walmart, but it got me by for several years. And speaking of your first on CDs and stuff, that's the next question. It is, what was the first CD you bought? And I did buy this one. And like I said, I got it before I even had the CD player. But I absolutely, in that early 90s, I really got into Boyz II Men. Of all people, I got into Boyz II Men. And I loved this album so much. I had the cassette and listened to that to no end. And I finally one day had a little spare money, you know, $15, whatever they cost back then. I grew up in the Air Force as an Air Force brat. Was out at the BX one day, saw this, and I had a spare $15, whatever it was, and I picked it up. And this is still my original one. This is the original one. It had the long box and everything. I had that long box for a while too. Unfortunately, I threw it out because as a kid, you never thought of that as being something you keep. I saw enough potential in it that I did keep it for a little while, but I thought it was so cool. It was Boyz II Men and that, and I held on to that for a little while, but I've still at least got the CD, and this is my original CD. I picked this up at the BX on Grand Forks Air Force Base back in probably 92 or so. I know I right where I got it. I know I got it at the BX. I know it had the long box. I know all that, but that's it right there. My first CD. All right. So my first CD to my most recent CD. That's the next question, the third prompt here. What was your most recent CD purchase? And I can't really show you one because I got these all together, but it's the latest in the Paul McCartney Japanese SHM mini CDs. So I got Venus and Mars, Wings at the Speed of Sound. This is the second wave on this. Wings Over America, Thrillington, and Wings Greatest. So it's all 5 of those because I got them all at the same time on the same day there. But that would be my most recent CD purchase. The 4th prompt, next question here, is how many CDs do you have in your collection? And, you know, unfortunately, I don't put everything into a spreadsheet. I do put a lot of it into Discogs. I've kind of slacked on that the past couple of years, so I don't know where it's at. And it was poking around on Discogs the other day trying to figure this out if it had a breakdown on it. I couldn't figure out a breakdown that would show me the number on that. So I really don't know. I kind of just counted how many are in one of my sections here of my rack. And I've also got, let me see if I can show you. Like I said, I'm going really off the cuff here. I've got some stuff written down, but I kind of planned I'm just going to kind of wing it here on this. But I've got these bags like this that I've got a lot of other CDs in. You can see I got some box sets in this one, kind of see in there. And some sealed stuff and all that. I can see on this end that they're sealed. But anyways, I got like bags like this. I've got my box sets with stuff. And I kind of sat here last night and kind of counted everything over, kind of what I got where, and kind of just did a estimation. And I'm thinking 1,500 plus or minus. And I would say it's probably stronger on the plus than it is on the minus, because even after I got done thinking I had everything, I looked around and went, oh, I totally missed those there. So I would say 1,500 plus or minus. And I wouldn't say it would be in the 1,400s or 1,500s on that plus or minus. So within that range from kind of what I calculated there with my estimation, because there's a lot of these in here that are double CDs. Like some of these are these mini LP type. So really almost 3 of those equate one jewel case. So I got a few of those sitting there. And, you know, every one of these sections on the rack is going to be a little different with kind of stuff like that. So it was kind of tough to estimate that. And something I need to kind of pay attention to, I think, and really get a true estimation on this. I was thinking, when I first kind of just off the top of my head, I was thinking between 800 and 1,200. I was kind of in that range. So the fact that I'm like 300 over my top estimate after I started adding everything up, yeah, I think I might have a little bit of a problem. I don't know. And the sad part is there's several doubles in here. So, because I did count, I've got a bunch of like sealed Beatles ones that, you know, I've got the open version, I've got the sealed version there. I counted whatever I got. So I guess he said, what's in your collection? And those are technically part of your collection. Whether he didn't say each individual album, how many it was. Yeah. But anyways, let's get moving on as I'm taking this too long. So the next question is, and I think this is a loaded question, especially for me. And I'm sorry, I geek out too much about this and I'm a little too on it. I hate how we only categorize the packaging on CDs in 2 things whenever we talk about it. We either call it a jewel case or a digipack. And I think that's not fair on the really good non-jewel case thing. So let me just be clear here. I'm going to look here. So, we all know a jewel case. I'm not going to, you know, we know what a jewel case is. I'm going to show you. I'll use this as an example. This was a recent pickup of mine too. That's a jewel case. And this is still sealed and everything, but that's a jewel case. We all know a jewel case, right? Which is a pretty standard CD thing. Now, for a while, I absolutely despised them. I absolutely despised jewel cases. But just because I started getting used to a good version of the dreaded digipack. And like I said, they're not all digipack. Let's stick with the Beatles on everything here. As a matter of fact, we'll use the Beatles as an example. So, and this is like a triple digipack, but this is a true digipack. A digipack is this. The cardboard outer with a plastic inner that houses the disc that's just glued on to the cardboard. That's a digipack. And of course, this is a triple digipack. I hate these. I do. I wish this was a digi sleeve. So let's get that right. Not all cardboard packaging is called a digipack. A digi sleeve is just the cardboard sleeve. Plus, there's the mini LP sleeve or paper sleeve that you get from Japan. And there's probably several others. I know Eco Packs. I'm going to pull out and show you what I really fell in love with true digipacks, or what people refer to as a digipack. This is a digi sleeve, and this is what I love. I don't like digipacks, and I'm going to specifically kind of show a Beatles one here because I love when they switch to this packaging, and I know there's people out there that hate this packaging that would prefer to go back to the jewel case. I love these though. I think they're so, there's character to it. A jewel case is kind of clinical, kind of boring. This, there's some care that needs to go into it. I don't know, I guess I edited out, but I keep them in these sleeves like this, these little plastic protector sleeves that seal up. So that's one thing. Just like with your vinyl. You protect your vinyl. You never just leave your vinyl sitting out, right? You never just leave it sitting in the cardboard out. True vinyl collectors will get a nice little sleeve for it, little, plasticky sleeve. And then you also get your record out and you put it into a polyline bag. And I do something very similar with my CDs in digipacks, or digi sleeves. I'm sorry, even I did it. I'm sorry, as I'm trying to teach everybody. But I love this. Like I said, it's got character to it. It's got a feel to it. You got to kind of care for it a little. Yeah, you do got to care for jewel cases too because they break so easy. But I just love this. You got a nice little pocket in this for your booklet. This packaging, I think, is one of the best. The Beatles really did a good job with this, and I think that's why they've stuck with this since 2009. We're in 2024, and since 2009, most CDs that they release are packaged just like this. So, kudos to them on this with, single type CD releases get done up like this. Now, I wish when there was a double one, like you saw, you get that damn digipack on those. However, the Abbey Road 50th and the Let It Be and the Revolver 50th all got pretty nice packages. A little different than this, but similar. But digi sleeve type. And I wish they would just stick with the digi sleeve type because I absolutely love these. I fell in love with, I think this is what helped me get really ramping up my CD collection when the Beatles released this. And there's another one coming up here I'm going to show with one of the other questions that kind of made me fall in love with this type of packaging that I got a little bored, I think, with jewel cases. But yes, so my answer on that is neither jewel case or digipack, but digi sleeve. And really, truly, I think the mini LP paper sleeve, as this is, I think this, no, I would take a nice digi sleeve like this over this, even though I absolutely think these are beautiful. But it kind of is a whole, this is more a collector thing. For just having in your collection, this is nice. This is like true geeky collector level here. Okay, and the sixth question is your best CD purchase of 2024. And I'm going to show a big one here. I think this was my favorite on this. Yes, it is a box set, but it is a set of six. It is 6 CDs. I'm getting all confused with the Blu-ray in here too. There's 2 Blu-ray discs also, so 8 discs altogether, but 6 CDs. But yeah, this came out in 2024, of course, and I absolutely love it. I've probably listened to this quite a few times over, all the different mixes and that, and really enjoyed it. And I would say this is probably my best purchase of 2024, and the fact it's actually a 2024 release too. So, but anyways, that's my best purchase of that. The 7th prompt is show a live album on CD. Let's see here. I try to keep this Beatley, and I've been trying to think of which one I'm going to show. And you know what? Let's show off one of these nice digi sleeve post-2009 Beatles releases. And the fact they don't have a lot of live albums, so I think that's pretty cool, being that they are my favorite band. But yeah, Beatles live at the Hollywood Bowl, 8 days a week. The touring years, the film soundtrack here. This is a live album on CD. There we go. And that nice post-2009 Beatles digi sleeve. that I just absolutely love. And again, I got my little rice paper sleeve on my CD. Like I said, just take care of them. They're going to look nice. I've had this since it got released. It still looks brand new. So there we go. Okay, so the eighth prompt, the eighth question is the best sounding CD in your collection. I'm not an audiophile. I guess this one I've had trouble with because I don't know. I've never broke down that hard on what, oh, this sounds better than this. And I can tell you one that I had a really good sound experience with. I'm trying to find it here. Where do I got it hiding? I had this really good experience in 2024. And this will let me show off another nice little digi sleeve. But the one-hand clapping, and I'll show another live album too, I guess. So, but yeah, this, I was driving home one day from work. I had my 2006 Pontiac GTO. I'll even talk up my car here, which kind of was a premium type vehicle when you got it. So there was no option on the sound system. It was what it had, and they put a pretty premium sound system into it. Blot-punked. I'm going to show a picture there. It's really cool. I took that picture one day and it just looks awesome. So, but yeah, that's the stereo there. I didn't even think about that. I was going to use that for something else, but hey, it's working there now. Hey, how about that? Told you, totally off the head here. But yeah, I was listening to this one day. I had the windows down, which I usually don't do lately. I don't know. The older I get, the less I don't want wind blowing on me, but just a nice day. I'm going to roll the windows down, hear the engine rumble a little, hear the Paul McCartney and Wings, rumble a little. And I was sitting at a light, just sitting there enjoying the music. I can't remember which song was on. I'll remember once I read it here. It might have been on Let Me Roll It, just kicking off CD2. It might have been on Let Me Roll It. But yeah, I was just sitting there and just, oh God, it sounded good. And I'm sitting there listening to it. I don't know if it was the CD or just my system or what, but boy, it sounded perfect sitting there. And I'm just like, I was almost at first a little like, oh, I should turn it down a little because there was a couple other people next to me. And I'm like, I think one guy was on his bike on a motorcycle. And I'm like, he doesn't need to be here. And, Paul McCartney and Wings just blasting here. And I'm like, know what? I'm not turning this down. It sounds too good. Too good. They need to hear it too, just like I'm hearing it. So, but anyways, yeah, I'm going to say that I had a really good audio experience with that. It was just perfect. The bass sounded great. The highs sounded great. The lows sounded great. It was a good little moment. So that I'm going to say my best sounding CD in 2024. There we go. That's how I'll label this. So I'm not really an audiophile. I've never broke down my stuff on what sounds great. I can tell you ones that sound bad. I can tell you that. I definitely have bad sounding CDs that I can point out, like the Loudness War ones. Those sound terrible. They sound kind of good at first, but the more you listen to it, your ears start feeling like they're going to start bleeding. And I've also got the earlier CDs when they first were coming out, and it wasn't all labels and stuff, but it seemed like they mastered them too low. So you either got the too high or the too low, and you crank them up so loud and you still don't get any punch out of it. And it's, yeah. So I can tell you bad sounding ones. This one hand clapping definitely is not. Okay, so number nine, your favorite CD cover or insert. And I'm going to go a little not Beatle-y here. I got to find it though first. And as I said, explaining the jewel case versus digipack, what was your favorite? I said there was a particular CD, a particular album that got released that I went, whoa, you can do this with a CD package? This is cool. This is reminding me of my parents' record collection. And this was one of the first that really kind of hit me on this, even though this came out after, no, it would have been right before, 2008. So 2008. So this came out, and then the Beatles, the 2009 stereo masters, and that came out. Yeah, this was Flight of the Conchords, their first album, self-titled album. And how cool is that album cover with everything? And I mean, even the back here has got some cool stuff going on. A little more basic. I don't know if you ever listen to these guys. They're goofy. You got to watch the HBO show. But I kind of get into kind of this goofy type music like this. And then you open it up and you still got stuff going on here. Like, look at that. And it's just cool. And I'm going to give this credit for the cover and the insert, because everything is just so cool with it. So it opens up trifold here, even though it is just a single disc. You got this little stand-up thing here with the guys that comes out here. I'll even show you the back side here because you got even design on the back. You got a poster that comes with it, so we'll even get into the insert. I'll fold it out, why not? A double-sided poster. I'm like, you never got something like this with a jewel case. And I think this was one of the first... I kind of was slacking on my CD collection for a while, but there you go, the Flight of the Conchords, the reverse side here with them. So really cool poster. I just fell in love with this artwork and everything with it. It's just fun. And I'll kind of put the poster out of the side there, and you can see, and I got my rice paper sleeve again, so just protect your CD. You don't got to worry about scratches in with that. Just got it in there, and it just houses in there like that, little pocket for it. And then you just put your poster back in here, and then fold the guys back over to hold the poster into place. Fold your trifold back in there, and there you go. And then again, just kind of showing, so you don't got to worry about your digi sleeves. You just pack them up in that. Even the digi packs, you know, same thing. Give them a nice little plastic sleeve like that, and they'll stay beautiful. And even before I started using that, I've had this since 2008, and it never was sitting in this for the longest time, and it still looks great. So if you just take care of your stuff, you don't got to worry about it. But and going back to that question, I'm gonna fixate on this one because I'm such a geek with digipack, digisleeve, jewel case, whatnot. The one thing about digipacks that I don't like is that glue comes undone, and you're kind of screwed. You can't do anything with it, you know. And these, yeah, they might tear, but like I said, if you take care of it, it's not going to do that. So, okay, number 10. I said that really weird. Number 10. All right, but show a CD box set. And hold on just a second. Let me get... See, as I've talked so much about the Beatles in 2009, I'll show the other one from 2009 in a totally different packaging. But I'll show the Beatles in mono box. I really love. This is just so cool. And part of the reason why I really love it is that Japanese mini LP style sleeve. You know, like I said, yes, I'm going to pick digi sleeve over it because that's more common. But I love these. They all come in the little resealable bag. And, you know, the fact that you had kind of two different packages right away that year with that new digi sleeve packaging. And then if you got the in mono box, this is the true collector grade stuff. And, you know, even if you got the in mono, you are true collector grade with that. But yeah, you got, you know, the kind of the reproduction of the original LP jacket. And these went as far as even doing the fold over flaps. And that's why I think this is so cool. And you can get the stereo versions, the Japanese mini LP sleeves. I know there is a stereo version you can get just individually with the fold flip backs too. Magical Mystery Mike showed those. And then I love this too. You usually get the inner sleeve recreated, and then the disc is in the rice paper sleeve in there, and usually the original label, the record label, is recreated. So I love that attention to detail, and I absolutely love this box for that. I think I've showed a similar type prompt before, and I showed my stereo one, because that really got me into really collecting CDs again. I wish I would have got this too right away in 2009, because I think I really would have fallen in love with this. It was several years later that I finally got this box. Yeah. But you got, what, Please Please Me through the White Album, and then you also got the Mono Masters in there. And yeah, just a really nice little box set. I wish they would have just put in, even if it was fold down mono, because I know there were parts of the world that you did get fold down mono, but Yellow Submarine, Let It Be, Abbey Road, in there, to just, that way you had the whole collection at least, and especially with the fact that you did the mini LP sleeve, that would be nice to have those in that. I know, I think Magical Mystery Mike talked about how he got Abbey Road, Yellow Submarine, and Let It Be in that mini LP just put into this box, so he had kind of the complete collection. But I suppose you'd almost have to get the Past Masters one too, though. Yeah, I didn't think about that, because you only got Mono Masters. That's a different album, it really is. But yeah, there's my box set I'm going to show. All right, and show a CD from your favorite band. Well, I've been doing that all day. Let's show an interesting one here. We'll go back to the White Album. And I absolutely love this. The original double disc White Album came in two separate jewel cases, not a fatty box, but two separate ones. And I had to, knowing that there was that little alternate version, I had to get my copy of that. And I love too, they put the numbering on it. So that was kind of part of why I had to get a copy like this. But yeah, so I guess really I'm showing two there, but it's one album. But yeah, that's how the White Album originally came out on CD. So yeah, CD for my favorite band. I'll show that White Album version. That was kind of a unique version of the White Album. Let's see. Next up would be question 12, prompt 12. What artist do you have the most CDs of? This is really tough. I don't know. It's kind of between, I forgot to count these out. It's between Paul McCartney and the Beatles. But I guess we got Paul McCartney and Wings in there too, but his solo stuff with Wings or just the Beatles. And I don't know. It's tough. I think it might be Paul McCartney. The more I'm looking at this, I'm not counting it out. I'm just kind of looking at where they are, thinking of the box sets too. I've got so many doubled versions of the albums, and the sad part is I'm gonna keep adding to my Paul McCartney one because I've only been collecting the more recent stuff, kind of since Archive on, and I don't have a lot of the original CDs, and I do want to go back and get those original CDs and like the Paul McCartney collection CDs too. So he's reissued his collection a few times, where the Beatles only really have done twice. And so that therefore I think it is Paul McCartney, even at this point, before I get all those pre-McCartney collection ones, pre-archive collection ones. I've got a lot of the McCartney collection already. I'm about halfway, little over halfway, I think, on the McCartney collection. So I'm already there at least with that, but I do got to get several of the older albums on the original CDs that would have came out starting in the 80s and early 90s there. Well, no, it would have been in the 80s because the McCartney collection was early 90s. So, but yeah, he's kind of 3 major reissues or on CD there, where actually 4 or 5 now that you're counting these mini LP CDs and stuff. Wow, because yeah, there was the colored vinyl reissues too, which did get a CD issue, and those are sitting here. It's not every album, but I've got a copy of every album that came in that release. So yeah, I think Paul McCartney might beat out Paul McCartney and Wings might beat out the Beatles, but I think the Beatles are right nipping on his tail there. So I really think it is Paul McCartney and Wings and Paul McCartney solo. The 13th problem, 13th question, do you collect CD and vinyl? And I kind of hit this question at my intro here, and that's a yes. I do collect both. I definitely collect far more CDs though. Far more CDs. I generally do collect on artists, Beatles, Paul McCartney, some Jimi Hendrix, some Beach Boys, some Tom Petty. So artists that I really collect. I do tend to get a vinyl version too. You know, all the solo Beatles stuff. So a lot of that I've got a copy of both on CD and vinyl. But for the most part, though, I'm a CD collector, and like any other artist, just whatever artist, I'll probably just get a CD of theirs. Unless if it's a really cool colored vinyl, I will get the CD over the vinyl. So, all right, but that's that one. That one's a short and simple one there, even though I'm really elaborating on it, aren't I? So the 14th prompt, and this one's kind of a odd one, but it's, have you ever sold off your vinyl collection for a CD? Well, I really never started a vinyl collection. I'm kind of an odd one to be answering this. I really started my collection, well, it really started with cassettes. And yes, I did sell those off, I guess. I know I kind of probably pawned those off at different garage sales over the years and stuff, but I've still got some somewhere. I've got to dig them out. So they're somewhere in the house. I've still got probably like my Beach Boys ones, any of my Beatles ones that they're technically my parents, but that I got out of my parents' collection. Beach Boys ones, though, I was buying. So yeah, I've still got some cassettes, but I did sell quite a few of the cassettes I had. But yeah, since I've been collecting CDs, there's been a few just kind of artists I really didn't listen to anymore. I sold the CDs back to like a record shop, but not a lot. I mean, probably less than 20 of them. So, and I had a tough time with that because a lot of my CDs starting out were record club ones, and most record shops wouldn't buy record club ones back. So, especially on CDs. So I did tend to pawn off some of those. And I think I just would buy a new CD with whatever they would give me, just do an in-store trade. Yeah, I've never sold off my vinyl collection because I never really started collecting vinyl. I think my first vinyl I purchased was probably about 2016, 2017, somewhere in there, and just kind of slowly ramped up. 2020 on, I've really got crazy with my vinyl collection, my personal vinyl collection, but I've still got my parents' vinyl collection, which is kind of mine now. But I've never sold off their stuff, so I never would think about it. So there's a couple albums in there that I don't even think I could sell, though. So it was like, whatever. But but I've still even got those sitting in the collection. So no, I have never sold off my vinyl collection because I really didn't have a vinyl collection when I started collecting CDs. I kind of did technically with my parents' stuff, but not my own. And no, I've never really sold it. So I've sold cassettes, some CDs, but not vinyl to feed my CD collection. I guess I did sell cassettes to feed my CD collection though. So, and other CDs to help feed my CD collection. So there we go. All right. So the last prompt is the 15th prompt, and it's show an album you want your viewers to listen to and have them give their thoughts. So in the comments, I suppose, give your thoughts on this album. Or if you've got your own channel, maybe do a video responding to me on this. I don't know. I've been thinking about this and what I want to do with it. I'm going to kind of show two, and I'm going to go a little not Beatle-y on this. But I kind of want to, I was listening to both of these. We are just past Christmas, a few days. And I always, every Christmas, I've got to listen to this album, but it's Snowed In by Hanson. I think this is one of the most perfect Christmas albums. Christmas doesn't seem right without this album. My sisters are big Hanson fans. I used to hear this all the time from them. I never got annoyed by it. Sometimes I'm playing other Hanson stuff, even though I love Hanson now. But sometimes some of the other stuff I got annoyed by. I never got annoyed by Snowed In, so much so that I got my own copy of it even. Yeah, I just absolutely love this album. I think they did a great job with it. It's about half and half covers and their own stuff. But, you know, these young guys starting out, and I think they wrote this. The Hanson brothers wrote this. So, and I mean, look at Zach there. Yeah, he's pretty young there. Taylor's not much older, and nor is Isaac. But yeah, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this too. Am I off on this? Is this, if you haven't ever listened to it, you know, give it a listen because it's well worth it. We're still kind of in that Christmas season. So, you know, look it up on, you know, Spotify or whatever, Apple Music, whatever you got. I'll look it up on there. I'm sure it's there. As a matter of fact, that's what I was listening to was on Apple Music this year, not my CD. But the cool thing that I got thinking about, because I listened to these back to back now since this came out. So this one would have came out in 97, and they do have another Christmas album, 2017. So, geez, man, that's 20 years later. They released another Christmas album. So going from young kids, teenagers, and even children to adults, definitely adults. And kind of the difference on this, but that's what I thought was kind of cool. And I'm really surprised how good of a job with how good this is as a Christmas album, that their follow-up 20 years later is pretty up there. I don't think it's quite as equivalent as Snowed In is. But they're Finally It's Christmas. There we go. Is pretty damn good too. And I guess we'll get it a little Beatle-y because they've got a Wonderful Christmas Time cover on here. And the second song on this one. And they kind of made it their own because it's called Wonderful Christmas Time, Come On, It's Christmas Medley. So they kind of did their own little version in there with this Come On, It's Christmas. And it's cool. Check that song out. I did do a record spinning short on that with their colored vinyl version of this album. So either go listen to that or just go listen to the whole album because they're both well worth listening to. And just tell me your thoughts on what you think of Snowed In, what you think of Finally It's Christmas. Do you think Finally It's Christmas is just as good, if not, maybe not quite as good, but almost there as Snowed In is? But I'd be curious to see if it's just me and how much my sisters love Hanson, which kind of has made me love Hanson over the years. Do other people see that too? Because I can't go through Christmas and not listen to this album. But there we go. So that will be my 15th prompt there, my answer to it, or my response to it. Yeah, I'm going to get wrapping up here, and I don't want to ramble at all. So before I get totally wrapping up, I do want to thank all my subscribers, though, and thanks to any new subscribers. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and do hit the notification bell so you know when I got new videos coming out. Also, please give the video a like. It really does help out the channel. And like I always say, if you've stuck around to this point, you must like it. So please give it a like and do leave a comment. I love having a discussion with everybody. Let me know your thoughts on this. You know, if you got a channel, please make a video too responding to Glen Calloway here. And do go check out his original video. I'm sure he's got a playlist with other people that have been doing this. So if you want to get some ideas, kind of whatnot for it there, go check that out. I always have fun making these. I don't make a lot, but I always have fun when I do it. And that's why I kind of wanted to just go off the cuff, because I think it's more fun when you kind of do it that way than plan everything out. I had a good outline, but not not totally everything as I usually do with my videos. So that's why, you know, I might forget a thing here or there. But anyways, but yeah, I'm going to get fully signing out though. I am Beetle Dustino, signing out.